My next guests don't think so. Bob Barr, former federal prosecutor and board member of the NRA, alongside Cam Edwards, the host of the fantastic podcast Bearing Arms and Second Amendment advocate. All right, Bob, my concern here is that, Clarence Thomas was real clear in the Bruen decision. How are they doing this, and what do you think the outcome is when this is challenged in court, which it is being by CCDL right now?
Governors such as we have in Connecticut and New Mexico and California, Kathy Hochul in New York, there's a whole slew of them, as all three of us here today are familiar. They do it because they can get away with it. And until the courts or the people of this country step in and stop them, they will continue to do this. Mm-hmm. We saw just last week, Governor of New Mexico that signed into law emergency orders. And then the California governor last week, I think, called for an Article 5 constitutional amendment for a right to safety to be incorporated in the Constitution. They will try every trick in the book, and then they'll make some up to get around both the Second Amendment, state constitutions, and thank the Lord for the Bruen decision of last year. They'll continue to do this as long as the courts and the people of this country allow them.
Yeah, well, Cam, Connecticut lawmakers have convened in January, obviously, to pitch a proposal for reforming the state's gun laws. They're making it crazy. Democratic House chairman spoke broadly about gun violence, which is what they always hide behind. Take a look at this.
And it continues to be a uniquely American problem. If you look at the rate of gun violence and gun death here in America versus every other civilized nation in the world, we are off the charts. Absolutely off the charts in a bad way.
Yeah, but we're not off the charts with violent crime. And Cam, the FBI admitted that guns save more lives than they kill by a long shot.
Absolutely. I mean, look, if you want to take the position as the governor of New Mexico did, I think as Governor Ned Lamont feels in his heart that the Second Amendment is a blight on the Constitution, then you know what? Try to repeal it. Right? I mean, that's the constitutional way to go about this. But trying to criminalize the exercise of a civil right, which is what we're seeing in states from Connecticut to New Mexico to California, that's an abomination, right? And I'm glad that we're starting to see even some Democrats in New Mexico in particular call out, the politicians who are trying to impose their tyrannical edicts on law-abiding citizens. And again, thankfully, we do have the Bruen decision. But, ultimately, again, we have to understand what this is all about. This is a civil rights fight. Mm-hmm. And these Democrats today are no different, quite frankly, in trying to deprive people of their civil rights. As Southern Democrats were in the 1950s, were not far from where I live. They shut down the public schools for 5 years rather than integrate. This is the same type of obstructionism that we're seeing here, trying to prevent people from protecting themselves and their families at a time in which they admit violent crime is on the increase. What they won't admit is it's because of their failures to go after criminals.
Right. Real quick, Bob, before I let you go, do you think this is overturned in court?
Probably not in Connecticut. Yeah. What we do need, hopefully we'll get within the next year or two, a Bruen 2 decision that clarifies and strengthens that decision to make it at least harder for these governors to circumvent it.
Well, I sure hope so. Bob Barr, Cam Edwards, appreciate you being here very much.